Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Game, and Sunny Mountain Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Koshiro's Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! As you realize, released it from its sheath, you found it still just as clean and pristine as the day it was gifted. Heh, a consolation prize. You grabbed your belly and grimaced as pain accompanied your chuckle. As much as you wanted to stay here and rest, you knew you had to sate your thirst and now grumbling stomach. The sea offered a bountiful feast of fish, but you had no means of catching them. You had to look elsewhere, and as the trees swished in the wind, you knew the next best place to look. Using the tree as a crutch, you got back onto your feet and held on until you could find your balance. Before you left, you needed something to signal for help, or a place for any other nearby survivors to gather and recoup. The dried twigs around your feet looked like a good starter for any fire, if you actually knew how to make one. Such knowledge wasn't particularly useful or even necessary when all of your problems were met by the servants who waited on your hands and feet. Your survival was based solely on whether or not you were too lazy to ring a bell or shout at the top of your lungs to beckon a servant. You pulled out your blade once more and marked the tree with a cross. I just hope someone sees this. Suppose it can also mark the trees as I travel as well. It should keep me from getting lost. You took one last look behind you, then traveled into the forest. The cool sea breeze gave way to muggy air as you ventured through. The growth was untamed, obstructing your movements and entrenching you in its grasp. Despite how tired you were and the pain it caused you, you still used your blade once more and hacked away to clear a path. You surged on, the minutes ticking by until you had been walking for what you assumed was an hour. Not once did you see a stream or even a tree that harbored fruit. A few animals caught your eye, but all vanished as soon as they heard the leaves crunching under your feet. You questioned if bark or leaves or grass was edible. If I must survive. You gathered all of what nature had to offer, but one bite is all it took for you to spit it out and scrape your tongue to remove the taste. The birds in the trees singing their gentle song became mocking cries as you keeled over to hunger pains and heat exhaustion. Nature sucks. You dragged an arm across your forehead only to drench your face in more sweat. The Huntress always made it sound like it was so much fun, too. Guess it helps when you have animal instincts to find your food and water. You fell onto your back and stared up past the canopy into the sky. The clouds started to take shape, into familiar faces, worn-out places, and mouth-watering food. You could hear it, the sounds of the carts of multiple dishes being wheeled into the room. The lids of each platter opening up as hot steam rose forth from the mouth-watering feast that you were about to eat. The chef would do his spiel, a quick summary of what he crafted for his meal, using whatever made-up fancy words he could as a way to boast about his culinary talents. What I wouldn't give for a hot steak dripping with butter. You could feel your eyelids begin to droop, the exhaustion from walking beginning to take hold, and a baked potato loaded with everything. And a tall glass of sleep. Huh? The bright sun was replaced by an equally bright moon, and the once vibrant colors of the forest dulled to darkened shades of greens. The birds no longer chirped, and the wind howled eerily through the trees. You could barely see in front of you, the only light from the moon ahead just peeking through the trees. I can't believe I just fell asleep. You got up and looked around for the trees that you marked, but it was too dark to see. No. Your stomach grumbled again. You still didn't manage to find anything to eat, not even a fruit or two to tide you over. What was that? Your drowsy eyes were now wide open, and you turned your head to catch the sound. Once again, your heart began to pump, and your hands shook as you reached for the blade at your side, being careful to silently unsheath it. Whatever was out there could have been a great many horrors. When your empty stomach started to grumble, you envisioned it as a welcoming sign. The fear that gripped you began to fade, and all you could think about was food. Was there another person out there? Who knew? It could also have been a rabbit or even a boar. If it was the latter, it would be imperative to remain silent so that you could catch it and finally have something to eat. You licked your lips and crouched down low, using the shrubbery as cover. You tiptoed closer to the sound. Come on, you little morsel, come to Papa. Drool dripped out of the corner of your mouth and rolled down your chin. You snuck closer and peered through the bushes. The darkness was all-encompassing, and there was nothing you could see. There was no animal nor tracks on the ground that you could identify. Did it happen to hear me and fled? No, I was sure it was quiet. Just before you were about to pull back, you caught sight of a pair of blue eyes staring back at you in the distance. You didn't recognize them. They had a familiar look to them. You wanted to move, but your body suddenly stiffened. Something told you that whatever was glaring back at you was dangerous, that you shouldn't break sight, not even to blink. Your grip on the blade tightened, and you swallowed in apprehension. The wind dried your eyes, but you dared not blink. It might have been your imagination or a trick of the shadows, but you felt like those eyes were suddenly bigger now. You risked a step back, trying to stay silent, but the leaves and twigs crunched loudly under your feet. 2 more steps and you were now certain. Whatever was in there, under the cover of darkness, was getting closer. You're no longer the hunter any longer, and you wasted no time to flee. Your brain, your arms, your legs, your heart, all yelling at you to run. The branches and bushes scraped against your face, drawing blood, but you ignored it all. Whatever was there was not something you wanted to ever meet. That was what those eyes told you. The sounds of your breathing and the twigs snapping underfoot made you curse you under your breath. Though you couldn't hear anything following you from behind, you had a feeling that it was still tracking you. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Ah! Something snagged on your foot and you fell face forward. Before your body hit the ground, you were pulled back, then upward, soaring to the sky at incredible speed. Your arms and legs became scrunched together as a rope-like cage formed its way around you, trapping you within its tangling threads. You stopped abruptly, suspended several meters above the forest floor. The shock of it all made your head spin, but you were thankful that your neck didn't snap from the whiplash. Once you had time to calm down, you quickly realized the predicament you were still in, and you struggled to escape from your hanging cell. Ah, where is it? The trap swayed back and forth as you wiggled around, trying to reach for your blade in hopes to cut you free, but it was nowhere to be found. As you squinted back down at the ground far below you, you saw a glint of gold, likely your blade. The trees around you shook with fervor and their leaves began to fall. There was no wind causing the ruckus, but the clawing sounds gave you a clue as to what was coming next. The same eyes from before peered in from the darkness, the only part of whatever they were attached to you that you could see. But they weren't the only ones. You counted 3, 4, no, 6 in total, possibly more if you were somehow able to crane your neck behind you. They all stared in that haunting stare, the look of one ready to claim their next victim. You struggled even harder, hoping to free yourself, but all you received was rope burns. Trespasser. The voice was deep and masculine and echoed all around, though you could tell it was coming from the pair of the cold blue eyes in front of you. Why have you come? The way he spoke to you reminded you of your father, forceful and demanding, the way a king would talk, or perhaps someone made of moxie. He wasn't just asking any question, he was pressuring you for an answer. Your mind was frazzled, still trying to comprehend just what in the hell was happening. Still just a bit groggy, out of breath from being chased through the woods, and all the swinging in your cell wasn't helping much either. Your stomach churned and swirled, apart from the hunger and other nausea. As you opened your mouth to speak again, you only stuttered. Something shiny sped towards you, missing your eye by a few inches. You turned your head cautiously to look at the arrow now stuck in the tree. That was not the answer he was looking for. What is your purpose for being here? The voice was harsher than before, despite still sounding calm and collected. The complete opposite of what you were feeling. While faint, you could see a glimmer in the darkness, another arrow likely. Your heart was now pounding loudly in your ears while 100 voices shouted at you in your head. It was so hard now to focus on anything, even what he was saying. Speak! Now! You had to say something, anything, or the next arrow would not be a warning aimed at the tree. I don't know where I am! Another arrow whirred by and funked into the tree at the very same spot, splitting the previous one in two. Whoever these psychopaths were, they weren't looking for half-baked answers. I'm a castaway! The ship was uncapsized and I moved inland to look for food and water. I don't know anything else. Your lips moved without thought. As you waited for a response, you could only hope that what you said was suitable. It was the truth, after all. You had absolutely no idea where you were. The lack of an arrow to your heart, though, told you that it might have been enough. You wear clothes fit for a noble. Yeseni's make. To what house do you belong to? How they could see you so well in the darkness was beyond you, but you knew for certain that only a beastman would have been capable of such a feat. Once more your mouth opened to speak, but you quickly silenced yourself with your hands. The Andros made it very clear to you aboard the ship that from here on out you were to never reveal yourself, even if it was someone you believed that you could trust. Even Koshiro agreed with him. There could be assassins lying in wait for you anywhere. Just because you were pronounced dead by the kingdom's retainers in an effort to throw off your pursuers, it didn't mean that they were just going to stop looking for you. You thought harder about what to say. If you told a lie, they would be able to see. If you told a lie, would they be able to see through it? They already seemed to know you were Yesenese, or perhaps it was just a good guess. Either way, it would be risky to deceive them without being able to back it up. On the other hand, if you told the truth, they might be those very same assassins who were looking for you. You had an equal chance of them being allies, though you were in no position to tell. You're already trapped anyway, so you might as well have been considered dead if they were foe. As you looked out, you could tell you had wasted enough time thinking things through. The look in their eyes were beginning to show impatience, and that arrow was looking more and more ready to fly. I mean, I should probably just be honest with them. Or not, they might kill me either way. You decided to just tell the truth. There was no point in lying now. Not when you were already caught in their trap and your life in the palm of their hands. The house that has ruled over Yasan for centuries, blessed and appointed by the gods themselves. It was a house, just days ago, you wouldn't have thought for a second to abandon. A house you blamed all of your problems on. House Yasan! Royal line! For a split second, the blue-eyed beast went wide-eyed. Your answer likely intrigued them. You waited for a response, but found only unsettling silence. Suddenly, the rope prison loosened. You fell faster and faster until you slammed into the ground. Your fall was broken by a pile of leaves, but it was only slightly eased the pain. As you shifted about to check yourself, it didn't seem like anything was crushed or broken. The most you might have suffered was some swelling and a very large bruise. Ooh. Before you had a chance to gather your bearings, a large beast man appeared before you. You quickly recalled that you were still surrounded. These creatures of the night freed you from their trap, but you doubted that they were through with you. As you turned up to look upon his face, you nearly scurried back in fear. You thought at first that he had no face, a featureless visage like that of a nightmarish fiend, but you soon realized that it was merely a mask. Still, your heart quickened as his piercing blue eyes stared down at you with disdain, leaving you unsure just what he was going to do. You didn't move a muscle. No, you couldn't even move if you wanted to. Your body was frozen despite your mind screaming at you to flee. He vanished as soon as he had arrived, retreating without making a sound. Even with him gone, you only felt more on edge, as you listened and looked around to see where he could have gone. You were roughly pulled up to your feet and pushed forward, nearly causing you to stumble back down again. Time to move. He pushed you forward once more before you even had a chance. And not a sound. Just a few weeks ago, only your father and maybe Leandros could have been the two people in the entire world who have talked you into that manner. Not a demand, but as a matter of fact. He had no need to tell you anything else. You could feel the threat in his undertone, the dagger already at your neck. Your biggest fear now was where they were going to take you. Somewhere to torture you? Your tolerance for pain was never very high. As a child, the slightest stub of your toe would send you to the ground, crying for the doctor. I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!